access to Giza pyramids. This comes alongside the launch of several new promotional campaigns meant to stimulate Egypt's touristic sector, including the Digital Ancient Egyptian Language campaign, which simplifies information on Egyptian hieroglyphs and Know About Treasures in the Governorate. Egypt's Ministry of Culture is also running exhibitions at the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Fustat to showcase rare documents on the decipherment of the Rosetta Stone from National Archives. And to shed more light on the 42nd World Tourism Day and how Egypt is marking this occasion, we are joined over the phone by Mrs. Negham Mohamed. She is a tourism expert. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great. So, Mrs. Negham, Egypt today is celebrating this year's 42nd World Tourism Day with special events in Sharm el-Sheikh. Can you elaborate on this?
Definitely, it's a very important event for Egypt. As you have mentioned before, the purpose of this day is to raise awareness of the role of tourism within the international community and to demonstrate how it affects all our lives, socially, culturally, politically, and so on. Of course, as you have mentioned as well, every year there is a country hosting the event. Or it's under the auspices of a certain country. This year is Indonesia, where they are looking into rethinking tourism. After the pandemic that we had during the past 2.5 years, it's very important that we rethink tourism. We encourage tourism, especially that it's one of the most affected industry due to the pandemic. Egypt has been working hard during the past 2 years in order to revive tourism back. As you have mentioned, we have too many actions done. On top of them is the COP, the cultural event that's going to take place in Sharm el-Sheikh. This is going along or in parallel to all the tourism activities that's taking place. The actions that have been taken during the past few years in order to revive the tourism. You can mention the new museum, the opening of the new museum, the infrastructure that are taking place everywhere in Egypt, the museums that are being opened, as you said, and the ministry, in order to encourage tourism, is going to offer all the sightseeing and the museums for free. So all the actions are directed towards this winter, where Egypt is expecting to have a lot of activities, a lot of tourism back. Adding to that, of course, the activities that are taken with regard to the green, having green hotels, certificates, in order to match with all the international aspects and lines of the tourism internationally, which will drive, of course, a lot of business to Egypt, which is one of the main economy supports to Egypt for this year in particular, after long rest for the tourism, as we say, or slow business during the past few years.
Yes, also, how do you see preparations in Sharm el-Sheikh to host the upcoming COP27? To what extent hosting such an important event in Sharm el-Sheikh will influence the tourism sector here in Egypt?
Well, Egypt has prepared during the past few years by hosting a lot of events. So it was like a prova, like doing the scenario and being prepared for such a big event. This year, when Egypt is hosting this event, it will represent or give us a milestone in tourism and in pushing it. This will happen by presenting Egypt in the best way. it's the sense from the beginning until the customers or the tourists, the attendees leave Egypt. This means that you have to look into the sense of every minute and the experience of the guests during this period, during the event, which has been prepared by the ministry, the government, and the individuals, whether the hotels, whether obtaining certificates, whether getting prepared, as you said, by diving centers, getting green certificates. So it's very important that we showcase that Egypt is prepared. Egypt has worked hard during the past few years to upgrade and lift all services in order to meet with the international standards, whether starting from the sense of arrival, airports, security in airports, streets that has been all redone, the infrastructure that links Egypt now from city to another, having the electric trains, showing case of the hotels being upgraded, offering the best services in hotels during this period. So all the aspects that the government and the industry, the individuals, the hotels, the travel agents have been performing during the past few years in order to be prepared for such events and to showcase really how did they plan during the past few years, how they have been trained to get into the best standards that can be shown to our participants in this event. And of course, the success of this event, the coverage of this event, will direct business directly. It's a kind of marketing, but indirect marketing, because the direct marketing is that you talk to the customer and say, come to this place. But this is an indirect marketing that will happen during this period because now, you know, the internet is linking everybody, social media is linking everybody, so it's a matter of marketing. If you have a photo in Sharm el-Sheikh where you're enjoying a ride in the sea, or a diving, or snorkeling, or even going by car between a city and another, this is all a kind of indirect marketing that will definitely assess our services and show how we have worked hard in order to make sure that our customers, or the customers who are coming for tourism on individual basis, not only for the conference, will be having a similar experience and a unique boutique of services and facilities all over Egypt, not only in Sharm el-Sheikh, because most of these customers are going to plan aside a couple of nights in different cities, going from Sharm el-Sheikh with the new roads to Luxor, to Aswan, having a cruise. So all these boutique activities will definitely make the marketing that we're looking for, and that we're spending a lot of money in order to assure that the marketing reaches all the countries, and you're having in this conference all the nationalities that you could look for.
Yes. Also, one final question, Mrs. Negham. Can you tell us more about the promotional campaigns launched recently that are meant to stimulate Egypt's touristic sector?
Well, the promotions have been taking different directions, whether via the official websites of Egypt, like the different campaigns that you have been talking about, having green hotels and certificates, sustainable tourism. All these are activities that have been done in order to market Egypt. Of course, the campaigns differ from a direction to another. There is campaigns that are dedicated to launch the new roads, the infrastructure, in order to hit the negative points that have been arised by earlier visits by customers. So you showcase here how you are improving and developing. You have as well the new areas that have been launched, which is marketing activities for the new museums that are being opened everywhere, and the new palaces that have been renovated, which is going in parallel with the museum, the Grand Museum. You have other directions where you are talking about the new promotions, like having new ports, and you could put your on the marines your yachts in order to enjoy Egypt. Having new cities like Alamein with its new ports, Port Said, Suez Canal, and the direction of the president in order to prepare these areas to be the new cities competing with the international markets for the yachts and international yacht competitions and so on. This is in addition to the events that have been launched everywhere and during the whole year and spread along the whole calendar in order to promote Egypt not only during winter but for the whole year, whether it's folkloric shows or cinema or yacht shows or other activities, sports,
yes.
Tennis, football, hosting events, and so on.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Mrs. Negham Mohamed, tourism expert. Thank you for being with us. A short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned.
سلمولي على مصر سلمولي سلمولي على الحبايب وبعتولي سلمولي على مصر سلمولي سلمولي على الحبايب وبعتولي سلام أمانة والنبي سلام أمانة والشوق أمانة والنبي الشوق أمانة